Well, hello guys, welcome back. So we are indeed going to go purchase two tiny game purchases. I can't believe I've been checking my discernment. Mammon wants me to do something, but I agreed to sacrifice going out of the house physically on my birthday. It's a fair sacrifice. I'll be sad on my birthday, but it's two tiny games. One's the meme game that I told you guys about, and one's a coaster pack. I know, you guys are like, no, no more coasters. But we're celebrating because we've had the badge of success. And the badge of YouTube success is you start to get haters popping out of the woodwork. I've been removing hate comments on a daily basis. If you see them, guys, just ignore them. I will get to them as fast as possible. Sometimes YouTube doesn't tell me somebody commented. Sometimes somebody comments and it ends up in my likely spam thing. Sometimes YouTube catches it, automatically deletes it. But it's actually a sign that you're making success of yourself. And when I ran the first channel, it would have really bothered me, right? It would have really drove me nuts and crazy, and I would have been, personally offended. And now I just laugh hysterically because one, it boosts your engagement. Even if it's hate, even if it's a downvote, even if it's like something nasty, even if they're making nasty videos about you, it's all engagement and it boosts you up in YouTube. So the more they try to be mean to you, actually, the more they benefit you. And, we were talking about it. And I noticed that, I'd watched a couple videos today and they were talking about, oh, the swedulous people do this and that. What they missed is that they're willingly taking the time that they could be using to build their own success, whatever they see as successful, and they're giving it to you. They're giving it to you by, instead of working on their own stuff, they're coming over and bothering you. I know a lot of people that are in business that were never successful because at least half of their business time they spent talking smack about other business owners, like people don't have ears and people don't gossip, right? And then they would wonder why these other, business owners were real frosty towards them. And I told one woman one time, I said, well, frankly, you've been talking shit about them and they've heard it. No, they haven't. Yes, they have. I know they have because they've repeated it to me. Maybe you should apologize and say you were just frustrated. Well, I don't like them. Well, this is why you're not a success. You're talking shit about everybody on the block, and then when you need help from other businesses, you're not getting it. And, that happens to people. It's why I go out of my way to never engage with other channels. I watch channels that aren't even remotely related to Loki or the gods or demons or whatever for that exact reason. One, you don't want to end up making a copycat video and not knowing about it. Sometimes we can do that subconsciously. And two, there's no sense running a war with somebody because you're just benefiting them and you make yourself look like the bad guy. So it's kind of been, we've been celebrating because I'm getting hate comments on a daily basis and I'm loving it. It's like, good, keep posting them because the more they post, the more engagement I get in. Even though I have felt like the teeniest, tiniest channel on YouTube, they're actually, they boost you up. So the more you get of this, like the more they boost you up. And if there are hate videos about me or something or about the channel or Loki, I don't care because it boosts your engagement. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm very opinionated. I told Loki, I said, are you sure you want me to run this channel? I've got a big mouth and a bad attitude. He's like, that's why you're on the channel. So, I'm like, I'm not going to make a lot of fans. I said, I'm going to piss a lot of people off. And I said, I know it's going to be like I've told you guys before, have been with me long term. You ever love somebody and love them and love them and love them and love them, and then they say that one thing and they so fucking piss you off that you hope they die on a daily basis? I said, I have that kind of personality where eventually I'm going to say something and you're going to be like, so I said, I have that personality and I can't help it, but I'm honest with you. Like I told you guys, I would keep it real, but we're celebrating. And Mammon's actually pushing me to get those two games. So you probably are going to see a meme game. You almost saw a Russian kitty cat game, but it is geared towards children, I guess. And I get the art style, but it's, you remember how Sesame Street used to be? Where they would find these eclectic books to read to children and the art style was unusual. It's like that. I get the art style, I can appreciate it, but it's unintentionally, I got the giggles. I was giggling and laughing so hard. I couldn't help it. I understand the art style. I'm not gonna call it pop art, but it's kind of like if Kandinsky and Warhol made a book together, this is what it would look like. That's the best way I can describe it. It's kind of we were giggling. I don't know if it was an adult trying to draw like a child, or if a child drew it, it's beautiful. If an adult drew this, I appreciate the art style. I took art classes, but it's unintentionally scary is what it is. So I was having the good giggles, and we don't like to make fun of games intentionally. We will play some games because we think they're funny or silly, and we realize we may offend at times, but I'm not going to intentionally go out of my way to drag this game through the mud because it wasn't meant to scare children. It's just unintentionally scary, at least to adults. There was someone that loved horror games that reviewed it and was like, this is unintentionally frightening. I kept waiting for the cat to snap is what I kept waiting for. It's just it's kind of scary. It's it's like whoa. But we're not we agreed a long time ago, we're not gonna become that channel where we play a game and just, smack the living shit out of it. They tried, it seems like they honestly tried. The art style is unusual, but at least they tried. And it's a story about a cat that loves his mistress in the mistress or master sense of the word, not mistress sense of the word. Oh, damn it, those words, those words are problematic now, but you know what I mean. And a lot of Americans were laughing, but mistress is the proper word for someone who has a animal companion or owns a pet, whatever term floats your boat. And it was a proper term for him to use, but it does, since it does have more than one meaning in English. People were getting some good snickers out of it. It was unusual. The girl looks like Sailor Moon. The cat looks kind of like the cat from Mr. Rogers, and it was just I had the giggles, and I would feel bad to, do a video where I had the giggles. So, just if you're going through a rough time and you have a lot of people in your family or a lot of people whatever talking smack to you, they're jealous of you because they see your success, and you might not see it, but I kind of like Loki, and I've discussed it before. I firmly believe that the universe, Loki, whomever, you're being successful and they're trying to show you in the nicest way. You're getting people being nice to you. You're getting people doing engagement. You're getting people supporting you. Maybe you do Pinterest or you turn on the radio or you go somewhere and you're having all these good confirmations that you're where you need to be, but you personally don't feel like you're a success in life. So you keep getting down on yourself. So the universe, more likely Loki, says, okay, you wouldn't take it the nice way, I'm giving it to you the mean way. And then the mean people show up in your life because the universe, Loki, I'm betting Loki, is like, okay, I try to show you love, I try to show you support, I try to point out all the good things you have. Now I'm gonna use assholes to point out all the good things you have. And then all of a sudden it's like they come out of the woodwork and you have these people saying, yeah, yeah, you shouldn't run a channel and or whatever they're saying. Maybe you shouldn't have a business or you shouldn't do this job or what, you're a horrible parent or whatever. Um, and it's kind of the universe using negative rein, you know, rein, not reinforcement, not negative reinforcement, negative confirmation of what you're doing is the right thing. When you start to make people hate you, Winston Churchill said, good, that means you've done something important with your life if you have enemies. And they're choosing to be enemies, and you just have to kind of shrug and walk away. And if they're family, minimize contact. We watched a preacher talk about it. He's like, yeah, mention the preacher, mention him hard. Um, and he did pretty good. But it was clear he had a personal beef with another YouTuber, and he started talking about this and getting into this and talking about how Satan comes in, and I'm like, oh Lord, Satan doesn't do this. People are just nasty. We are a nasty species. Go look at primates in the zoo and watch them bite each other. That's our species, except with language. So I got, yep, back here. I know quite a few demons that picked up that hairless monkey thing from the prophecy, and they call us that. So, Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing because once you realize it means your success and that's why you have so many haters. That's why so many people hate celebrities. It's not that they genuinely hate them as a human being. They'll just pick out a reason to justify it, but they hate because they're famous. They hate because they have money. They probably worked their ass off to get there, but they still hate them. It's like, I would never put in the work to become president, but I've never liked any of our presidents. And it's just, I don't answer to authority. That's my main problem. But it's like, they also put in a fuck ton of work and money to get there too. So I recognize the work and the money they put in to get there, but at the same time, I don't like political leaders. So it's one of those things to remember that, the more haters you get, usually it's a good indication that you're going in a positive direction. And we did self-reflection. We did self-reflection to make sure that we're not doing the very things we don't like in other people, but we're doing good so far, like if a lot of people show up in my life and they're bragging, I'm like, well, have I been bragging lately? And I'm like, I don't think so, unless I do it and I don't even realize I do it. But you might just be saying something conversationally and you have nothing else to talk about. And I'm like, well, if I've done that, I'm not aware of it, but I'll just watch myself in the future. So, we hope you guys are doing good. And, just kind of remember that when those negative, hateful people show up in your life, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's kind of like Loki using, a negative example of you're doing good, you're going in the right direction. That's why these people hate you. Because, they'd rather put the work into hating other people than loving themselves. I don't know why. It seems easier to them, I guess. And they try to like, one guy used an example of tearing buildings down, tearing a big building down so they have the biggest building in town, but then he went on to expose his hatred of fat people. And I'm just kind of listening to his argument and the lack of logic, and he's talking about, how these fat people that were getting table service and everything were, they were actually enjoying the game. They were watching Super Bowl, enjoying the fuck out of it and yelling at the screen as one does. And they were having fun and they had table service, so they absolutely had the money. And he got really pissy about it and he was saying, well, those people are losers and the real winners are the people that were playing the game in the Super Bowl. I'm like, one, I don't give two shits about sports at this point in my life. And two, they're obviously well funded if they're having table service and they have all this beer and nachos and they have this party and they're getting it catered to. Yeah, you were just jealous, dude. Admit it. You were jealous. You're sitting over there in the corner with your one beer and lime and they're having the time of their life. They're having this party and they're fucking catered. I would have invited myself to the party. I'd have been like, yeah, guys, football, yeah, throw the be smart. Invite yourself to the party. That should be a thing. If you see people with success, if you see people having something you want, think instead of getting jealous and hateful and sitting there embittered in the corner with your bear, invite yourself to the fucking party. The worst they can say is, no, I don't want you in the party. Not to take advantage of it, not to leech off people, but if you see a bunch of people having fun, kind of wander over and have fun if that's what you want. If you're feeling jealous and left out, see if they'll invite you in. The worst you're going to get for it is a no. I'm like, if these dudes were having table service and beer and nachos and something, those have been my best new friends. Nachos? And, well, I don't drink, but I would have taken some Cokes. I'd have been like, yeah, those are my best new friends. I'm a terrible human being, but hey. Hey, I always, I'll gravitate towards the generous, kind people that give free food and drink. That's what I'll do. Look, he said they're gonna find your body in an alley somewhere. Eh! So he's so positive. But we just wanted to share that with you guys. It actually made me kind of giddy because it was so funny. Just people. Sometimes people really have to hate on other people to feel better about themselves. Fine, it just boosts my engagement, and ever so slowly, then guys, we're growing just a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And so if you see hate comments, just ignore them. Do not engage. Do not engage. I delete them. Usually YouTube is getting a lot better at catching that stuff. And sometimes, I know people mean to try to take the piss out of the channel, and, they're, I put them kind of on probation and they don't know they are. And they start talking like a friend of me. And eventually you just kick those people out, but it's going to be okay. We're actually doing good. That's a wonderful sign when hateful people come up. It's not the beginning of the end. It's actually a sign they're doing positive growth in the right direction. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm hearing back here. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.